Conservation Commission Inland Wetlands Agency for May 4th, 2022. And I will need to appoint one alternate. I'll appoint Peter as an alternate. And I should do a roll call. So do you want me to do the names, or just will you do it? You can see who's here. Or how do you want to do it?
If you want to do it, I can see who's here, but
Okay.
if you want to read
So
it
we
off,
have
they can.
Rick, me, Dabney, Jerry, Brian, Peter, Jay, and Amanda's on joining us by WebEx.
Yes.
We have Roman 3, the approval of the draft meeting minutes. 1 is the Inland Wetlands meeting, April 6, 2022. Somebody give me a motion to accept the Inland Wetlands meeting minutes of April 6, 2022. Motion, second. Dabney. And then we have another meeting minutes of the site walk from April 10th, 2022. Can I have a motion to approve that? Rick, second. Peter, thank you. And I'm assuming all in favor of both of those. You weren't there. Okay. So for those members that weren't there, can abstain. Okay. Roman numeral 4, application for discussion. Number 1 is continued IWP 2018-1909 BlackRock Realty LLC 2019 Ash Creek Boulevard, Assessors Map 80, Parcel 4A. The request of land tech for a wetlands permit modification for the phasing sequence of the project. And then we have C attached and staff recommends approval. Anybody here for that?
Yes, Brian Carey from Land Tech offices in Westport, Connecticut is here. If you have any questions, we're in agreement with the staff recommendation, though.
Okay, thank you, Brian. And Brian, you're joining us via WebEx. Thank you.
That's correct.
Anybody have any questions? Comments? Commissioner Fain? I'll be happy to entertain a motion that you want, if you wanted to approve with the staff recommendations and add whatever you'd like to add, and then somebody can second that, and then we can vote on it. You can reference it. Would somebody? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No? Okay. Mr. Carey, do you have any questions?
No, I could not hear the deliberation though, about the outcome of the, was it approved with conditions? I didn't hear the conditions.
Yes, it was approved with the staff recommended conditions. However, Commissioner Fain, can you hear me first? Can you hear
Yes,
me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Thank
Then-
you.
And Commissioner Fain, just reference back to the actual original approval from 2019, I think it was. 2019, that there were some conditions then that seemed to continue to not be complying with. So as long
Okay.
as you continue to comply with the original
Yep.
approval and the one now, and if you can do that, then,
That makes sense. Understood.
okay,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate your
Thanks.
time.
thank you.
Bye.
All right, so we're Roman 4, number 2, WP 22-102, City of Bridgeport, 2390 Easton Turnpike, Fairchild Wheeler Golf Course, Assessors Map 11, Parcel 2, construction of 2 detention areas for flood mitigation within a regulated area, and the applicant has requested withdrawal of this one. So we'll skip that. We go to number 3, WP-22-132, Town of Fairfield, 725 Old Post Road, Burr Gardens Pond, Assessors Map 373, Parcel 491, restoration of an existing pond, Burr Gardens Pond, within a regulated area. Staff recommends approval with conditions. Anybody here for that? Or Tim?
Yes, that's correct. Would you like me to read the conditions?
Please.
We discussed this, or at least accepted this application the last time, and just to give you a quick recap. This is the water feature next to Sullivan Independence Hall in Burr Gardens. That is a ornamental pond, if you will, with a fountain that's goes back about 100 years, and is intended to just act again as an ornamental water feature. The plan is to restore that to its historic state by the contractor, the applicant. And with that, we would like a submittal of revised plans, including location of S&E controls for the ground disturbance in the stockpile areas. Make all attempts to utilize native trees, shrubs, and herbaceous plants, both terrestrial and aquatic, in the restoration planting plan. That a minimum of 1 stone feature be constructed, natural stones in the pool area to allow for access and egress for water loving reptiles and amphibians. Report the presence of any aquatic or semi-aquatic reptiles and amphibians or other wildlife trying to use the pond during construction, and the permit shall be valid for a period of 5 years.
And has the town agreed to the conditions?
I think they're acceptable, as, again, it's more of a ornamental feature than a functional water course, but it does still hold water on a regulated parcel, so that's how it ended up here in the first place. But I expect, now that it was actually recently cleaned out, concrete bottom and walls are visible, so it's essentially a swimming pool.
That pond.
All right, commissioners, any questions?
I have a question, Tim. You recommend a stone feature to be constructed? put the stone final approval on that?
I don't. I haven't had any correspondence with that condition from the applicant. The purpose of that was just, I felt that if a turtle was to try and use it and actually make it that far through the lawn to use it, that it would allow them to get in and out and not, or if other amphibians to get in and out and not just jump in the water and then drown or not be able to get out. So I have not heard comment from the applicant, whether
Okay.
that's,
You're right. They need
in their
access
design.
to something like that, but I just think it would be important to have it approved by the town or by someone before the structure is made that may not meet our approval.
sure. And my thought in the design was just several stacked stones, not like a full-on ramp where it would cause a hazard, but more of just the ability for the critters to crawl in and out.
All right, anyone else?
Their critter crawls in and out, is it gonna be safe from the filtration system, all the mechanics?
As far as I know, I don't think there was there any filtration? I think it was just
Yeah, they have
a pump.
Yeah. The pumps are self-contained and it's an inlet. They really should, this is strictly an ornamental pond, but I support Tim in trying to have an environmental feature. I think it's fine though. I don't think, if the town objected strenuously to the feature, I wouldn't have a problem deleting it either. So you can maybe add it as a suggestion. But the pump system should be fine. We have the same one in our pond in our house. We have all kinds of fish and frogs. They're all fine.
Thank you, Commissioner. Anybody do a motion to approve with the recommendations?
I'll make a motion that we approve with the town's recommendations.
Anybody second? Peter, all right, all in favor? Aye. No opposed. Roman 4, number 4, declaratory ruling request, Charney, 360 and 366 Mine Hill Road, Assessors Map 184, Parcel 76, construction of a lean-to within a regulated area.
It might be helpful for the other commissioners to know that there was a similar structure on this property when the homeowners first purchased it. So I don't know if I didn't see anywhere in the documentation where it mentions that, but it might be helpful to know that there once was a shed almost in that exact same area, which was very old and had dilapidated and fell down.
Is anybody here for this? Anybody online?
Had been Land Tech that submitted, but I don't know if it's still on.
Tim, is there anything you want to tell us?
No, I don't have any comment.
Okay. Okay, there's a motion. Second? Dabney, second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No, all unanimous. All right, now we're Roman numeral 5, applications for receipt. Number 1, WP-22-157, Lucas Papa George, 177 High Meadow Road, map 229, parcel 205A. Construction of a new residential dwelling within with in-ground pool, drainage, septic, and site work within regulated area. Staff recommends tabling application pending legal notice and departmental review. Anybody motion to table, Jerry? Anybody second that? Second? Okay, all in favor to table? Aye. Okay, all unanimous on that too. Number 2, WP-22-158, John Fallon, 150 Villa Avenue, map 33, parcel 75A. Subdivide into 4 parcels and construct new houses on 3 parcels within a regulated area. Fee waiver requested, and staff recommends tabling application pending legal notice and departmental review. Anybody here for that? 150 Villa Avenue. Yes, 150 Villa Avenue. I'd like to. I want to discuss at least the fee waiver, and I think we need to do that first before we have staff review paperwork. No, he should be. I don't think so. I think he would be here for the executive session we have later.
This is Town Attorney Jim Baldwin. If you want me to address the fee waiver, or Tim, do you want to do it? Is now the appropriate time?
Yeah, go ahead, Jim.
Yes, good evening. This is a unique situation in which the town has entered into an agreement with the property owner to buy a portion of property adjacent to this proposed 3-lot subdivision. And then the property owner is going to, in turn, and at the same time, donate the property that's before you for a park, and so that it will be deed restricted, ultimately never to be built upon. And it's also part of the entire parcel, or the complete piece of land that's going to be one donated to the town and the other purchased by the town, are going to be also used for Rooster River flood mitigation purposes. And for that reason, since the town is going to be paying some money to the seller, it was our belief that it really made no sense to make the property owner pay for this fee, when in the end the town would just wind up paying him the equivalent amount additional to the compensation that we're already paying him for acquisition of the adjacent property. Hope that makes sense.
It does. Thank you very much, Attorney Baldwin. I'll entertain a motion. All right, Jerry's made the motion. Anybody second that motion? After the second, yes. Would anybody second it for discussion? Peter, okay, discussion. You're asking that of I. Okay. Right. That just for this application. If it doesn't go like Jerry said, it.
Tim, this is Jim Baldwin again. I'm sorry, but there's a problem with the microphone. So we're not picking up what's being said on the recording.
Yeah. Just wondering how strong the agreement is that you have in place and that feel confident that if we move forward with this, that the owner will end up donating these properties to the town. I've been in a similar situation in another municipality where the owner actually reneged on it down the road.
But we do have measures in the contract that we believe firmly protects the town from that happening.
Okay. And also, if it were to fall apart, it's just simply that this application won't go forward. So if that homeowner or the owner wants to come back, he'd still have to come back because we wouldn't really,
Or new owner.
yeah,
Right.
or a new owner. Okay. All right. Any other questions or comments? All in favor for the fee waiver? Aye. Unanimous? Well, we're almost done. There's only a couple more things.
I'm just saying, do we have to make a
Oh,
recommendation?
yes, for the,
So I'll make a I'll make a motion on
to
the second
table.
part that we table the rest of this application pending review.
and Dabney, would you second that?
Yeah.
Okay. It looked like you were going to do it. All in favor? Aye. Okay, so it's tabled. Number 3, WP 22-159, Muddy Puddle 3 LLC, 361 Cross Highway, map 170, parcel 38, construction of a new residential dwelling with in-ground pool, drainage, septic, and site work within a regulated area. Staff recommends scheduling a public hearing for June 1, 2022 or July 6, 2022. Is there a motion for June 1?
Okay, sorry, I have to recuse myself on this application. I was the soil scientist of record.
So then, Amanda, are you still there?
I am.
Excellent. Amanda, for this one, I'm gonna be appointing you. Okay,
Yes.
very good.
Make a motion to schedule it for June 1st.
All right, so there's a motion and Jerry seconds it. All in favor to table? Okay, Amanda, yes or no
Yep.
to table?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, thank you. That's unanimous. Thank you. For number 4, Amanda, you're off again, and Jay,
Thanks.
you're back on. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, so number 4 is WP-22-161, 4480 Black Rock LLC, 4480 Black Rock Turnpike, map 116, parcel 3. Construction of multi-unit apartment complex with associated parking areas, driveways, and stormwater retention system within a regulated area. If you all will remember, this was an application that came before us. It wasn't quite ready, and now they're back. And they've asked for a fee waiver. And then, of course, the second part of that will be to have a public hearing. But let's just start with the fee waiver request. Any motion to approve the fee waiver, just to get it going? Okay, Jerry, motion to approve. Any second to that? Brian seconds that. Okay. Discussion.
I personally don't have a feeling one way or the other right now. The only question I have is regarding the emails that went around today that were entered in the record. Are the petitions part of the official record? And I think you saw my email on that earlier.
I would say yes, as we're a public comment, as part of this application. That would be, I think, up to you guys, but we're admitted into the record.
They needed to be printed names and
Oh,
addresses.
yeah, I just noticed before, it was more of a legal question.
Yeah.
I think Attorney Baldwin's still on the line and he could probably answer this better, but we received 2 petitions not to waive the fee, and it was just, I don't know, a whole bunch of signatures with no printed names, no addresses, and it was,
Okay.
you're an attorney. I
Right,
mean,
well-
I was just thinking,
We can take it
I
as
don't
you
know
wish.
if that,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just asking a question. I'm
Yeah.
not saying one way or the other.
But the petition did say that they,
Yes, would you like to, that's right, okay. Your counsel? Yeah, unfortunately, they don't stay on.
Okay,
Just to hold it.
okay, there we go. Chair, Chris Russo with Russo and Rizzio LLC, offices at 10 Sasko Hill Road, in Fairfield, on behalf of the applicant. Normally, it wouldn't comment on an acceptance, but because this hasn't even voted to be recommended for a public hearing yet, but if public comment is being accepted, then I think we'd like the opportunity. I haven't even seen the comments or the letters that were written in to respond to them.
They were all received late this afternoon and were emailed to us. And really, the gist of almost all of them are that the fee should be denied. That's really what it was. And it's, abutting folks or folks in the area. But for purposes of having us take it in, I'd like to get the fee waiver question resolved first.
Okay, do I have the opportunity to comment on the fee
Yes.
waiver? Okay.
Yes.
Just with regards to the fee waiver, if the commission remembers, we had submitted an application that was accepted and we had continued over to, was last month's hearing, to try and address some of the comments. We were able to address some of them. We were able to get soil testing done, but the plans weren't able to be updated in time for the hearing. So we had requested a continuance, which was denied, and then the application itself was denied, and the commission had indicated that they would entertain a fee waiver request. My client has submitted a fee of thousands of dollars already for this application, and we personally don't feel that it's appropriate for them to be charged again for that same amount. When we were just in the process of addressing comments, that's what we have continued to do and have submitted with this new submission. But it is a significant fee that we have already paid and never really got fully into our hearing the last time. It was denied.
Mr. Russo, you come before this commission on a fairly regular basis. And I'm going to say again tonight what I said last time, which is you are well aware of what it means to come to these meetings prepared for your clients. And while we can discuss the fee waiver, I just want to reiterate that you were not ready at the last meeting. And you're coming back again. It is the same application for the same property. But please, if you're going to come back in front of this commission, you need to be prepared. So my question to you is, if we waive this fee and you come back before us, will you be prepared the next time?
Yes, Commissioner. I mean, we were in the process of addressing comments that we had received. And so, and we had gotten the soil testing done. Those plans have been updated. We've submitted a letter from Mike Galante because there was a comment regarding what would be the truck schedule. We submitted a response letter from that we have to Aquarian. We've also reached out and discussed with Aquarian because that was a comment as well. I'm trying to think what else. The soil testing, all the plans have been updated. So we feel that we've addressed those comments. I'm sure you may have further comments as we get into the public hearing, and we may have to continue to address those comments. But we feel that we've submitted a complete application and that we've addressed the main comments that we had heard. Oh, the other one that I'd forgotten was we have staked the property. We've staked the building, the structures, and the retaining walls. Because I know that was another comment. Those flags that have been staked indicate the change in elevations that are occurring. So I know those were the big comments that we had when it first appeared before this commission, and we feel that we've addressed those at least.
Do you know if your client has included the water main per Aquarion's request on your plans, your most recent plans?
We have designated the easement, and we talked with Aquarian, and we're actually, and it's one of the things we'll get into in the presentation, because of the way the soil testing came out, we were able to pull farther away from them. So we've let them know that. Aquarian has indicated that they want to go themselves and flag their pipe, just so they understand where their pipe is within our easement. And we said once they have done that, we will put the actual pipe on our plan as well. But that's something they said they were going to do. So we're following up with them to hopefully make sure they do that.
And do you foresee that happening before the next meeting, the next conservation meeting?
I hope so. It is something that's in their court, so, you know, I don't have control over them. I would hope so. But on our position, on our end of it, we're away from their easement. So we feel that we're significantly far enough away from them that we're not going to affect them. But they said just to make sure that they want to actually locate their pipe within that easement.
Are you aware of the email we received today from Aquarian?
No.
It said, this is from Aquarian. I reviewed the documents and determined that the applicant addressed and resolved all but one of my concerns that I described in my 3/1/22 letter to the commission. Concern number 2 is still outstanding, which is stated below. The grading, drainage, and utilities plan must show the location of the 48-inch water main. Due to the large size of the main, it shall be drafted to show the full diameter of the pipeline, not just the center line of the pipe. I recommend that the applicant arrange for Aquarian to mark out the main, have the applicant's land surveyor locate the marks, and depict them accurately on the plans. Aquarian will have the main marked out in the field by the end of the day tomorrow. Okay. So
Okay, great. So yeah, so
my
yes.
suggestions, work with them, talk with them, because if we go ahead with, setting a date, I don't want to still see this outstanding, and then we're starting back where we were.
Absolutely. And that is what they had indicated. So that now they gave an actual date. I didn't know the actual date that they were going up, but they had said they were going to do that.
And again, that's another document we got late today, so. Okay. Commissioners, anyone else?
You mentioned, as we're talking about the fee, you felt that it was unjustified to ask for a second fee. So I'd like to know why you feel that no work has been done by staff or the commission yet? You used the word unjustified.
The fee, if I recall, I don't have the exact figure, was, I think, $10,000 about that we paid. And so to assess, I think, another $10,000 fee.
Well, my question was, do you mean by unjustified that no work has been done by staff? There's a lot of work in bringing these.
That's not what I'm saying, Commissioner, respectfully. I am saying that we have already paid a fee that was a substantial fee, and the plans were revised based on information that we received and in addressing comments. But we have not substantially changed the application from what was originally proposed, and we've come back in a timely manner. The very next meeting we could. And after paying what I believe was $10,000 or somewhere around that range for another $10,000 fee, to me seems excessive.
I would just
not that staff, we've been working with staff the entire time, and they've been fantastic. So I'm not saying it as, the staff isn't worth, you know, X amount of dollars and their worth isn't worth X amount of dollars, but the fee is based on the amount of regulated area that you disturb in part. And so if the commission felt that just the straight application fee, which I believe is 320, or I don't know, Sarah and Tim know better than me about what the initial fee is. I would certainly understand that, but the fee, particularly the fee that's based on the amount of regulated area on a property, to charge again for that.
The request for the waiver fee is for the permit fee and the application fee, which totals $6,320.
And just to clarify on that, that was what my calculation of the fee would be this time. I don't know if staff agreed with that, if they felt that that was actually the amount that would be required, but we're asking for a waiver of the entire fee, unless the commission saw fit that for the application fee, which is, I think, the $320.
I said taxpayers
For that.
electing to fee when the commission still has work to do.
It's just my
So,
departure that there's a new application.
pretty old.
Is the fee.
Hold on, folks, hold on.
And I said, nobody was told I needed addresses.
Can you mute?
Yeah. They just muted.
Okay, sorry, I apologize.
I just see fees as fees. I'm not really receptive in this instance.
Okay, all right.
I agree.
That's a fee that changes per property and based on the regulated area. And so in certain cases, like on this property, I think it's almost punitive in that we submitted an application, we were in the process of responding comments. I asked for a continuance, which I have appeared before this board many times, and those have almost always been granted. And asked to just start anew and reapply, which we have done, to then charge a fee that is thousands of dollars just because the property has a large amount of regulated area, to me is punitive.
I'm not in favor of the fee waiver. I think that there's going to be a lot of work to do on this application. I think that the first application was not thoroughly prepared and thoroughly thought through, and maybe that this is a good lesson for the next time.
Okay, thank you for your comments. Any further comments?
Chair, if I can just clarify one thing.
Yes,
The application was accepted as complete. It was deemed to be a complete application by the commission. And there were comments that were made subsequent to that we were in the process of responding to.
okay, thank you.
I'm not going to be a lawyer on this, but I think there's a difference between completeness for acceptance of an application and completeness for the thorough review of an application, and I think that should be noted.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Took the words right out of my mouth, and I will also state that part of having a complete application is for the commissioners to be able to go to the site and review the property, and there was no ability to do that. So I also am not in favor.
I also agree with walk the site. Very, very difficult with no or very limited marking. So I am not in favor of a fee waiver.
All right, well then I'm sorry, would you like to respond? Otherwise, I'll have.
Well, field walks are not a required part of applications. They can be requested by the commission, and so it was requested, and we were in the process of responding to that.
Okay, thank you. Can we vote now? Is there no motion? Okay, a motion?
I'll make a motion to
No,
deny.
it's a motion, that's why we're discussing it. Motion was to approve, so if you, right, the motion is to waive the fee. So if you vote now, yes, you would be agreeing to waive the fee. If you vote no, you would be, you wouldn't want to waive the fee. So those in favor of the motion to waive the fee? Those opposed? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, the second part of that is to, to schedule the public hearing for June 1st, 2022 or July 6th, 2022. But before we do that, Tim, you were talking about a third party. Do you want to talk about that as well? Or how do you want to address that part?
Yeah, I guess we could mention it at this time, something to discuss now or later, whether the commission would entertain a third-party review of the application. I believe it was discussed early on with the previous application.
Right.
So that would involve hiring an outside consultant to, do a third-party independent
So I think that's
technical
important.
review.
That's important then for time purposes. So if instead of June 1st, maybe the July 6th would be a better date.
Correct. I'm not sure a consultant can be retained in time and complete that review. Should they, should you could proceed that way.
Can we try for June 1st?
Let's try.
Yeah, and then see what happens.
Yeah.
Can somebody do a motion for June 1st and see what happens? Motion. Second, for a public hearing for June 1st. Oh, any comments or about the just for the date, to have the public hearing? Yeah. Yeah. Are we required to?
You have to schedule it within 65 days of
Yeah,
receipt.
but then
Yeah.
can we continue
They would
thereafter?
have to grant us
Agree-
a continuance.
Okay, so that would
Or an
be,
extension.
okay.
If that was the case. That would be the latest meeting we can go to under the initial 65 days. And then you have time to,
so
I think the week after would be too late. The week before would be okay. No,
well, then
so June 29th.
June 29th is the day. So, I mean, we can vote on anything we want to do. So if somebody wants to do a motion to hold it on June 29th, as long as we agree, and then there's an agenda out there.
I personally think we should get it open so we can get preliminary comments. It can always be extended. If we don't feel that we're prepared, we don't have consultant comments, we can always keep the public hearing open. But I think that get the public comments and get the process going is important. So I'd go for the earlier June meeting if possible.
Council, would you mind coming up, Council? I don't know if you can hear back there, but what our discussion was basically about. We're trying to do a motion to get it on for June 1. But we anticipate a large public comment, and we want to accommodate your schedule, your client's schedule, our schedules, and the public, and we anticipate a continuation. But July 6th will probably be a no-go based on the July 4th holiday. Would you, if we get to a position where we might need to extend the time, would you believe that your client would grant an extension if we needed to?
I'd have to talk to my client. And I also, if you're giving me a date. Yeah, exactly. I'd also just want to make sure our engineers were available. So if you have a date, it's June 29th?
We're probably leaning to just start it on June 1st. but
Okay.
There could be a continuance.
And likely will be.
I just wanted to add, once it's opened, then there's 65 days until it needs to be closed. So it can go, then the 65 days, yeah. Through the August meeting.
Perfect.
All right, so do we have is there a motion out there for June 1?
I made the.
Yeah.
motion
You made,
for-
okay, so all in favor for June 1? Okay. So all for June 1. All right, now we have number.
This application will require a land excavation and fill permit, special permit. I'd like to ask staff to confirm that with planning and zoning, and if that's the case, I believe that this application should be expanded to cover that activity as well, since it wouldn't just be a building permit application.
I guess we can look into that, but I don't know if that's our purview. I'm not sure.
I think that if there's going to be a mine run on the site first before the building is actually constructed, that we should issue the permit for that also to cover that activity. No, we don't issue the excavation permit, but if it's in a regulated area, a mine would require a wetland permit. And I believe this is one of the activities they're asking for. So I'm just asking Tim to check into that and confirm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. A Fairfield Wetlands Map Amendment. Staff recommends scheduling a hearing for June 1, 2022. Tim, or you just want to?
Yeah, if now that we've decided, June 1st for the previous application, does everyone agree to continue the map amendment for the same date?
Sure.
Okay. That would be presented by, SLR,
SLR.
to get that started, so
Okay.
I could let them know and confirm that that works for them.
Okay. Motion to have a public hearing for the wetland map amendment for June 1, 2022. Jerry? Brian, second. Okay.
The process. I do have comments on that application. Should I withhold those until we have the public hearing?
Yeah. 6 bills and bond releases. There's nothing there. Is there something we're gonna?
No.
No? Okay. 7 legal enforcement actions. 1 show cause hearing, Janine Norwood, 120 Wakeman Lane, Southport, map 246, parcel 5C, clearing of wetlands vegetation and deposition of material within a wetland. Anybody here for that? Come on up.
Bruce Jackson here for Janine Norwood, the homeowner.
All right, so I guess there was a cease and desist order for some stuff that was going on there. And I know some of the commissioners have gone out there. So what are we doing?
I can't tell if this is on or off. Just some background. She bought the house in October of 2021, moved in, and the backyard was a thicket of vines and prickers and all sorts of stuff. So she went out and retained some people to go clean it up. She did not understand what the dynamics were. And basically, she was bringing people in, and when she brought a surveyor in to see where her lot lines are, the surveyor didn't say anything about the restrictions. The contractors didn't say anything about it. Obviously, we now know that there's some restrictions to it. We would ask that all clearing is stopped. We won't do any additional clearing. We aren't going to do any additional work. I would ask that you can allow us to install the pool equipment and the pool fence, because she bought the house and there is no fence around the pool and against your own regulations. She has dogs. She doesn't want the pool turning green and having kids or dogs or anything in the pool. You can't see them at the bottom. She'd like to put a pool fence in, and then she'd like to, the area that was the conservation easement. There's two parts. There's a wetland area and there's a conservation easement. The conservation easement, as part of, I guess, the contractors were not supposed to go anywhere near it, but they did, and they tore it up. So she's merely asking to grade that and seed that, and then we'll go from there as to what do we do next.
You know, what you're really asking us to accept is that a person of means, who I would expect had a realtor, a title search, an attorney, and is claiming complete ignorance of the encumbrance on the property. It's going to be very hard to persuade me that that's acceptable.
If I may, she knew about well, first thing, you got to remember, part of it is the pool should have had a fence when her pool was.
About the pool.
Well, if I
I don't
may,
care
part of the issue was that she moved the pool equipment, and so, but she moved the pool equipment arguably to a better location, or she moved it closer to the power. So she didn't understand that the moving of the pool equipment was a problem because it was there, and she just moved it to what she thought was a better location. I'm not asking for you to ignore the fact that she did some things in the regulated area she shouldn't have, but her main issue was she understood about part of the wetlands, but then she didn't understand what the upland review was. So she didn't understand the name of the brook or anything about the upland review. We're not asking for you to just approve anything. We're asking just to really effectively in this moment to ask to turn the pool on so it's safe. And then we'll work with you on what we want to do after that. You want a planting plan? I mean, I'm not ignoring it. I just don't want an unsafe pool sitting out there with the risk of a child or an animal or somebody going into the pool. You know, so we're really asking to grass seed and turn the pool on and allow us to put a fence up within whatever requirements you have so that it makes it safe. That's really all we're asking for right now.
Yeah, I understand the need for safety, and I respect that, especially the children, in my case more so than the dogs. But when it was purchased in October of 21, and there was a survey done, the survey didn't clearly outline the wetland area?
She got the survey after she bought, and it does not, they didn't mark any of the wetlands. In fact, according to her, they didn't even mention wetlands.
Yeah, there's some irreparable damage there. The pool, I understand, and personally, I agree with that, but how do you plan to address the other issues? The extreme other issues is the biggest question.
Basically, I'm here to say, can we seed it so we don't get weeds? Can we turn the pool on? And then she's going to make an application with you and follow through the process. Really, this is just the cease and desist. I don't want to have her put the pool up and have you in violation of the order, but she now has to figure out what she needs to do to going forward. So this isn't the end of the discussion as much as I'm here to address you to say, okay, she's taking it seriously. She understands there's an issue. We're not trying to candy coat it. We're just trying to move forward.
Well,
She brought me in for that
There's a
reason.
lot going on here. Did she get a building permit to move the pool equipment?
I don't know if she got the permit. I don't know if she got a permit to move the pool equipment, but I do know there were some other things. There was a bunch of permits pulled. So I believe that she has gotten permits for most, if not everything. I can't tell you if the pool equipment itself got a permit, but I can find that out for you.
Well, in terms of the area that she disturbed, she put a drain in to drain a wetland. That's where that area is disturbed. So I don't care if she puts a temporary seating on it, but that drain's gonna have, in my opinion, it's going to have to be removed.
If I may, that drain was there. There's a drain, there's also an irrigation system there.
Brand new drain. I went and looked
She-
at it.
Yes, sir. She just fixed the drain was there. She did not. have-
Well, that would require a permit. So,
If I may, sir, she's happy to pull the drain out. She doesn't care about the drains. All she did in that case was she brought people in and the drain was all clogged, so she was just trying to repair it. And in fact, if you go, I think you walk the property, there's all sorts of an irrigation system in there that never got a permit either. Neither of those things were permitted, neither of those were known. So yes, sir, she replaced the drain, but only to replace an existing drain.
so getting back to what your question is, I think that the pool fence, if I would be in favor of replacing it because of the safety factor, if it was okay with staff in terms of the location. I wouldn't be in favor of any other work. I saw she has flagstones there for the pool deck and things like that, so she's in process replacing. I'd have to ask Tim to look at that, but I would, I don't want to reward bad behavior here, and I think that's what we're looking at. And in terms of the drain, that's, you're saying that's there, but the one that's there right now is brand new. So I don't have any documentation, so I'm hesitant to allow anything else to occur in that location without going through the permit process. Although I would say you could seed it with an annual rye, which would stabilize the site, which would die after one season.
If I may, Commissioner, we're really only asking to get the pool operational so it's not a danger. We're not asking to make the irrigation system work. We're not asking about the drain pipe. She doesn't care about the drain pipe. We can take it out, but I don't want to make more of a mess than we have now.
Just as a matter of fact, I was out there, I think, on yesterday, and I think they already seeded that area because there was a guy out there seeding, so.
I have a quick question. So you're saying October 21, she bought the property?
It was October 22nd, 2021.
Okay. When she bought the property, was there a fence around the pool?
I can't speak to that, so I don't know.
How would she, yes, Tim, do you know?
I can speak to that because I confirmed that there was not a fence with the building department.
Okay, all right. So,
Sorry. How did we get a permit? When was the pool put in? Do you know?
If I may, sir, the pool was put in 1984 and there was never a permit pulled. There's a statute that closes open building permits after 9 years. It closed by statute. There's never a CO is never issued.
so there was a permit pulled in 1984?
Yes, sir. There was a pool,
Okay.
the pool permit was, I got a series of numbers if you want them. The permit was pulled for the
Good.
pool and the equipment, but never closed, and it closed by statute.
Yeah, okay. All right. I can see already, I think there's going to be what we want to protect versus what your client needs to get done. What I'll ask commissioners now is to just simply focus on the pool now, the fence on the pool, not even moving the equipment or anything else or nothing else, just the fence. And then I think we need to get us something to, what are you going to do? So I don't think it'll fly with the pipe is not new or is new or whatever. What is it? Okay, we have a cease and desist order laying out what the problems are. How are you going to fix that? We need that as quickly as possible.
Can we see where they're putting the fence to?
For the pool?
Well, that was going to be my question. Is the fence going to go only around the pool area and decking, or will it go around the backyard?
I believe she intends only to fence the pool area. I don't think she really is. I don't think there's much space beyond that. I mean, I don't really know the spot, but I think it's the idea is to fence the pool for safety.
There's really not a reason that there couldn't be a safety temporary fence put up around the pool until the rest of this is all determined.
That's a good point.
Does she have a fence contractor already lined up and a plan for the fence?
She did speak to a fence contractor who says he can put a fence in. I don't have the name of him, but he does. I think it's Discount Fence. I think he's a Pusey, I think your last name is. I think you're aware of him, and he would come to you and we could come up with a plan of where the fence would go.
So he hasn't come up with a plan yet or pulled a permit for the fence installation.
I recommended we do nothing until I spoke to you. And I may, in addition to the fence, I would like to ask the commission to consider having the pool operational in the sense that if it's green and yucky, I've had experience where, you know, without filtering, it's going to get to be green and full of stuff. And if something did fall in there, you'd never see where it was.
But they could keep the cover on it in the meantime.
I don't believe the pool has a cover. I believe she drained it, or when she bought it, it was drained. So I don't know that she has a cover on it.
Then they shouldn't fill it until we come up with a plan. I mean, she filled the pool already. Maybe it shouldn't have been filled if she was worried about somebody falling in until we had a plan with the town. I mean, it's been like that since October, and now we're worried about it right before summer starts to get this done right away, okay? So she should have waited. Maybe I shouldn't fill the pool until I figure out what I'm doing with the town and get permission to do what I have to do.
You know, there's a peripheral issue with the pool also. If it was built in 94, it was probably not built to today's code. And the code, you have to follow today's code with the anti-siphon valve, even if there's no grandfather anymore. It has to be done that way. It's not really our issue, but if we're going to do this, it has to be done correctly.
If I may, counsel, there's a statute to close the pool permit.
Doesn't matter. There's a new statute. Pools have to be up to code. Anti-siphon, all pools, it doesn't matter when they were built, they have to be retrofitted. It's the state statute. I can't remember the kid name in Greenwich, but it's somebody's law.
Stanford. It was in Stanford. Yeah, so we're dealing with multiple issues here. I think Commissioner Boucher has a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we temporary fence, pool only, purposes only.
Anybody second that? Jane? Any further comment on that motion?
Chair, this is Amanda Campbell on the phone. May I ask a question just of the motion? Is that motion intended whether there's a retractable pool cover or not? Because I don't think we have that answer.
No, is the retractable pool?
That I can't answer. I don't know.
I don't believe so. I think it's a free-form pool, which would not have a retract.
According to the pictures online, it looks like it has a retractable pool cover. Tim, do you see it?
Even still, the pool cover does not cover the code aspect of it in terms of safety.
Yeah.
Right. Pool cover doesn't ensure safety, you know.
Amanda?
Yes.
Is that your concern, right? The concern is safety or for them to close the pool, you mean, as a temporary measure?
Both. A less intrusive way to assure the safety, but if that's not possible, then I just was asking that clarifying question.
Okay, I think that if safety is our biggest concern, pool covers don't guarantee safety, but I think that in light of all of the work that needs to be done to come before this commission the next time to mitigate all of the destruction that's occurred, I make a motion to allow the homeowner to use the pool cover to protect the pool.
It was seconded by Jay, so we can't do your motion now. So there's a motion on the floor now for allowing a temporary fence around the pool for safety purposes only. And we're in the comment section of that.
All right, I have a comment, if I may. This seems, correct me if I'm wrong, that this is a case of it's better to ask for forgiveness than there's permission.
Yeah.
The pool has been there since, they bought the home in October. It's May 5th. We want to open the pool, summer's coming. Can we have a temporary fence in the meantime? So what was done from, October till March to rectify the safety of the pool opening up in May? That's my question.
Commissioner, I'm not even sure we have an answer to that. I don't know how we deal with that. So there's nothing I think we can, yeah, I don't know. All we can do is what we have, we did, a few of us did site walks. There's like a temporary chicken wire type of fence up there, broken flagstone, and then pallets of what seems to be brand new stone that's going to go somewhere. So I don't want any construction, but I don't mind a temporary fence to make sure nobody can go in and out of that.
I understand that, but can we describe temporary?
Sure. How do you know anything about fences? What's temporary? I don't know.
Well, someone would argue that a post and rail fence is temporary. But I think anything other than what I saw there Sunday, a wire fence, 2x3 gauge wire fence, steel poles, something that's 3 feet high, anything is better than nothing that's there now.
Okay, and I agree with that. However, temporary fencing can almost be as expensive as regular fencing. Especially if we're talking about steel posts that are set in concrete, and we got a bigger issue trying to get the concrete out. So that's why I was proposing the pool cover, the pool to be closed so that it's a non-issue until we can mitigate.
If I may ask the commission, if it was a fence put in without concrete, just with posts, and we could have the fence person come to Mr. Bishop and show the anticipated fence. I agree, if I put in posts and wire, I'm going to put concrete in, and that's not the plan. I'd rather have the professional fence person come and say, I can put this in and this will be your functional fence. We're talking like a split rail. We're not talking like a giant, we're talking something you protect with something on the bottom for animals and such. So I'm not talking a 6-foot stockade or anything else. And if I did, even if you had that as a temporary, those posts go in either sand or concrete. I'm not sure we're going to be helping that at all.
Okay, so the state of Connecticut has guidelines on what is appropriate for pool fences. So if we're really concerned about safety, then we would apply those same standards to a temporary fence as we would a permanent fence. So something like a split rail isn't going to prevent a
It
kid.
doesn't count. It's got to be 4 foot tall, it has to
Right.
support 200 pounds, and then the mesh has to be no more than 2 inches.
Right, so that's why I get back to either install the permanent fence that abides by the state, restrict the state code, or close the pool.
Do you have any knowledge of what your client's intent is on this fence? Is it simply going to be around what is there now, or does she intend to expand the area? Because it looked to me like she moved the equipment to be able to kind of overlook the swale that's in there. So is the fence going to go to the edge? What is her intent? If she can tell us where that fence will go, we can maybe do a permanent fence now. Do you want?
She's online. Would you allow her to speak?
Yes, if she's here. I didn't know.
Ms.
That would be
Norwood,
great.
would you activate your mic, please?
Hi. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
The question is, where is the fence going to go?
Wherever you guys will let me put it. I'm very, very sorry. I take this very, very seriously. I understand you guys are very angry. Whatever you need me to do, I have all my neighbors are, I am very sorry. I didn't know I did anything wrong. I have my neighbors that will help me and tell you what this property was like. Whatever you will let me do, I will do. Mark Pusey is my fence guy. I do have a fence on site. I know you guys just came down here because everything was in motion. I believe my pool is up to code. I hired Pool Plus. They came out and did stairs and a liner. I hired all of these people. I am very, very sorry. No one told me and a lot of people went and pulled permits. So anything new, they pulled permits. I am very sorry. Whatever you want me to do, I will do. Wherever you want the fence, I will put up the fence. Mark Pusey told me he puts in fences all the time in wetlands. They have to be 2 inches up. He knows about the mesh. He told me about the 4 feet, the locking gates. I know the building department loves him as well. He will come down there and he will do whatever you need him to do. And again, I'm very sorry.
Ms. Norwood, first of all, no one is angry at you. We are just trying to figure out a way to work with you to mitigate what has happened. So I wanted to make that clear.
I
Also,
appreciate
do you have any idea how soon he can come in to install that fence?
I have a bunch of it on site, so I think he could probably do it in the next few days. I can send him downtown hall. I can tell you tomorrow. I don't know if I could get him at 8 o'clock at night. I think we lost video. We lost sound.
The motion that I made, we're going to amend that to make it a permanent fence, temporary fence from the town as far as regulations. And also a deadline of 2 weeks to have it completely installed and approved.
Okay.
Okay, second to that amendment. Okay, Jay, all in favor of that? Okay, all right. That takes care of that. And
If I may,
Yes.
You guys need better mics. I'm looking at the swimming pool residential conditions, and if I can, it says here in 93.11, it basically talks about enclosures with self-closing gate. I mean, I would just say that we install within the regulations as set forth in your town code.
Town code for pool fences and
The
gates
fences,
and
the locks,
locking
the
and,
whole
yeah,
thing.
doors break out, yeah, all that.
well, yeah, well, that's a state code, but I also the one extra thing is where it is, and I want our staff to see it, so it's not gonna be this giant fence. all
Not a
around.
problem. I will have him, he should talk to you, Mr. Bishop? Okay,
Yeah,
well, I will
okay.
make sure that he comes
Yeah.
down and meets with you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and then once that's completed, I just want to make sure we're all understood here. You will come back before this commission with a mitigation plan, right?
Yes,
Absolutely.
there was never intent not to mitigate the whole, this is just the order to cease and desist. We
Yeah.
had no time to prepare. She called me in a panic and said, would I come down? So really, we're just getting up and running on what to do.
Commissioner.
I wanted to make a motion that we put an order on the land records for this violation.
Somebody would have to second that.
Typically, way it's supposed to be handled according to state standards statute, so it's recorded and we remove from the land records once the violation is remedied.
If I may speak to that just for a moment, Counselor, which is, I agree if we don't cooperate, perhaps that would be the right move. But if we're actively cooperating, could we hold off on that to allow us, if we don't cooperate, if we don't come back to you within, say, 90 days, would you then do it? There's no purpose in
All right,
barring the land records on the short term.
so we have a motion, we have a second. Now it's seconded, so we have to vote on that. Voting yes is to put it on the land records now. All in favor? Okay. Opposed? Not putting it on land records now.
What was the count?
It was four, you won. So
Well, thank you.
four.
That's all I need to
against,
hear, guys. Thank you very much.
three on so it was Commissioner Fain, Commissioner Hood, Commissioner Boucher to put on the land records, Commissioner McCain, Alessi, yeah.
Right. I make a motion that if the homeowner does not come back within 90 days of this meeting with a mitigation plan, that we put it on the land records. Violation.
Second.
I'll
Rick,
second that motion.
All in favor of that motion? All right, that motion.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Okay,
Couple other quick comments.
sure.
I think that under the circumstances, we should, maybe Tim can prepare a letter in terms of the things that need to be included on the remediation plan and the mitigation plan. But one of the things I absolutely think should be done sooner rather than later is the conservation easement and the wetlands line be marked in the field.
Okay, I mean, I would have faith in our staff that they would want to do that as part of their duties anyways, so, and we'll have the homeowner come to us, and if it's not there, we could always bring it up then.
You know, using this area as a forum and not doing
Yeah.
things offline, I just want to bring those things forward.
Okay, so now we're at Roman 7 staff report. One.
Thank you.
Thank you, sorry, thank you very much.
Thank you.
The staff report is one revised agenda format. Obviously, you folks have seen that it's a little bit different. If Tim, you want to mention that, I think it's pretty good.
Thank you. Yeah, as you have already seen, we tweaked the agenda format a little bit for a couple reasons, to make it a little more eye-friendly, user-friendly. One of the things we did, you saw probably on the front cover, and I circulated the link. I worked with IT to have basically a file dump, so to speak, on our town G Drive, where we'll place all of the attached files for that specific agenda in various subfolders. So those will always be accessible to both the commissioners and the public, instead of attaching hyperlinks, multiple hyperlinks under every application. Just kind of tweaked some of the language and titles. And as Commissioner Fain had pointed out in a previous meeting, the confusion with applications for receipt and discussion. Moving forward, I had used the continued language, as you see in section 4, application 1, and that would indicate that it's been accepted and already been discussed and continue to be discussed. Those that do not have the continued designation are being discussed for the first time. You know, obviously I'm open to comments, but just, you know, the intent was to make it more user-friendly and kind of just a little cleaner in appearance. But any commissioners welcome to comments for or against any of our adjustments.
Commissioner.
Duly noted. Thank you.
I want to thank Tim for all of the work that he has done since he started here, not missing any opportunity to improve the way we do things here. So thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
One.
My staff, don't forget.
And,
Yes.
and Sarah,
Yeah,
thank you.
Just one other suggestion I found very useful on other towns' applications, and I think this is great. I'm not trying to criticize anything, but just if the statutory deadlines could be included with the applications, that.
Yeah, that was,
So much
I was
easier
thinking
for
about
us.
that.
That was
Have a separate document not attached. I didn't know if that was too much on here with you.
No, no,
guys,
let's
but I
put it
can
on
have-
there.
Think
We
of
put it
extra-
on there because that also helps us. And if there's people here, we can tell them,
Absolutely.
kind of like today was, okay, if it comes in,
It's the
Right.
first time since
So-
I think I've been here that we've ever questioned that while I was here, and I'm like, it figured.
yeah, right.
Agenda.
Yeah, Sarah and I did have that discussion. I said, let's leave it off for now, just for a cleaner look, and we could always add it. And
Yeah,
Yeah,
so we'll put that.
I
back
think
in.
that
we
one
kind
can
of
come
took a
back.
bet that we would add it.
So I would prefer the date, either when it comes in, the first date, and then how many days are left before
Yeah.
we have to take action.
Not a problem. We'll make that for the June. All right.
Yeah, that is. Excellent.
Thank you. It was much needed. You know, I had again, just similar to what I do with everything else, is kind of cherry pick good qualities off other towns, and kind of assemble an A team, so to speak, for us. That was one of the things I noticed was just, just having one central location to go find what you need by, commission or agency, date and address. So it's just a lot cleaner. Yeah, exactly. The link through the website is so tedious if you could even find it. So to find,
If you moved something, you lost it.
yeah, and this won't expire. This will be there if you want to go back 5 years from now to, tonight's meeting, those documents will be there, so.
All right, number 2, reports from the Conservation Department. A, CWC permit applications received 12.
This section was something where Sarah and I discussed too, just to kind of give the commission and the public the pulse of what we've been up to without getting too into the weeds with details. So we figured adding how many applications, staff level applications we've handled, and without getting specific, we're just going to track that meeting to meeting. So that number will be since our last meeting. So we've received 12, 3 NOVs and bond releases is on there. If there was any other kind of data or metrics anyone would want to see, we could certainly add that too.
Okay, thank you. And the third one is sidewalks for May 8th, or I think that should be the 15th.
Yes.
Yeah, not the 16th, the 15th. And it's 177 High Meadow Road, 150 Villa Avenue, 361 Cross Highway, 4480 Black Rock Turnpike, and then Brett Woods Open Space, the Eversource Wetland Crossing. Let us know.
Yeah, my suggestion was, to list these, whether people wanted to break them up half and half. I mean, that's a lot for one Sunday.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to throw those out there, maybe just break it up.
Now that we have longer daylight, that maybe we could do some sidewalks in the evenings, is that better?
It's up to commissioners, or if you prefer, we don't have to do them on, yeah. Was there a day that you commissioners would prefer? Do you like Wednesdays?
Really, any evening is okay, but, I tend not to be around on the weekend.
Like 6:30.
Right.
Yeah, right. Can we do the next 2 Wednesdays?
That would be the 11th and the 18th.
Be conservation. Do we have a meeting scheduled? If we don't, we can make that our day.
Yeah, not at this time, we don't.
So,
Tim, a suggestion.
I know, but I mean, if
When we do the Brett Woods Eversource walk, for anyone who wants to join, we could do a quick hike of the property for anyone who isn't familiar with it. I'm happy to lead that. Okay, walk slowly.
Yeah, that works for me. I could go
so
11th
let's see.
and 18th.
Yeah, let's do the 11th, the 18th, and maybe not in this order. If you can figure, I'm assuming we're going to take a lot more time at 4480 Black Rock than we will at I don't know, 150 Villa Avenue. Something along those lines.
Yeah, absolutely. So Sarah and I will look at by site specific as well as location and lump them together properly.
So that would be better. So the next 2 Wednesdays, and I would say starting at 6:30 at a first site that you tell us to go to on each of those days. Okay?
Very good, thank you, and we'll get those public notices out.
Okay, great, thank you. Number 4 is the May 2022 classroom field training with SLR. Oh, you did mention, yeah, sorry about that. Okay. Well, let's see if we can push that to a third. How do you want to deal with that? Because we want to. Okay. So let's stick with Wednesdays. Yeah.
So the suggestion came out, I had reached back out to SLR because I know we've talked about this in the past, for a quick field and classroom training. Megan suggested 5:30 to 7 PM on a weeknight instead of taking up our weekends like we had just discussed. Originally, she threw out, well, I threw out the 18th, just in case we did have a Concom meeting that it, or didn't, we had that, most people had the time blocked out. So I will check with them on for the 25th availability.
I mean, they have to also be able to do it. If they can't do the 25th and you already had a conversation with them for the 18th, you can push our site walks, do that. Because I think but I think that's a little bit more, we need to get that done. Okay. Just let us know. That's all. Okay.
I don't expect anyone to schedule around me, but the next 3 Wednesdays, I have 2 work trips and an elementary orchestra concert. So I'm actually unavailable the next 3 Wednesdays, just for awareness. I'm not sure if there's a makeup for the classroom field training, or we could look to another day.
Individuals can always go if they can't make the group meeting,
On the
group
sidewalk?
sidewalks, yeah.
Yeah.
No, the sidewalks for sure. I meant whatever you're scheduling with the SLR.
Yeah, the classroom field training. Tim, refresh my recollection, that's just like they're going to show us what soil is like and things like that. Is that what they were going to be doing?
Correct. Just kind of a summary of the DEP training course, question Q&A, maybe some basics in the classroom, and then the intent was to go, look at upland and hydric soils behind town hall.
Okay.
Also, if Amanda is unable to make it, previous discussion involved Commissioner Fain's training in the fall, which would
Right. I was going to ask
supplement
Commissioner
this.
Fain, would you be able to assist Amanda if she can't make it on a one-on-one for the basics? Thank you. Amanda, would that be acceptable?
Sure, if it has to be the 18th, sure.
All right, Tim, let us know. Okay. We'll see what happens. We'll ask SLR, see if they can do what Wednesday because it seems to be a good day for everybody. Okay. Okay. Number 5, the future agency and commission meeting locations. So I had asked to put them in here. Are we going, in person from here on out, or what is the town telling you, Tim?
I haven't heard anything otherwise. As kind of COVID fades away and everyone's a little more comfortable, I haven't heard whether anyone's opposed to it. I think it's really up to us. There's other commissions that are still meeting in person full time. At this point, I had also checked in with Fire Chief McCarthy and Deputy Chief Dunn to find out whether the Fire Training Center was available for meetings, either this meeting as well as the commission meeting. And I found out this afternoon while I was here that is not an option at this time. So
Right. So for the inland wetlands, it'll be here. Conservation, have you spoken to the museum?
I'm not from the museum. I know Sullivan Independence Hall is not an option. Sarah, did Joe have correspondence with the museum?
I don't know if she's talked to them yet, because I know she had initially booked all of the Conservation Commission rooms for the conference, second floor conference room at Sullivan, but everything got canceled from that because they needed the rooms. What's up? So yeah, I'm sure we have some options. Right.
So where would our second meeting of the month, the conservation meeting, be if we have those?
Well, now that we just found out a couple, is that right before we were supposed to have the shellfish meeting in the second floor conference room, we were told it's no longer available for us to use.
Okay.
So we
And
had to redo everything.
so, and this room, I'm assuming, is no good for that day.
We have to look.
We have to look. Okay.
I'll
Well,
do
you
some
let
extra
us know.
research.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
let us know.
Right. While we're on this subject, I wonder if it wouldn't be prudent for us to schedule the public hearings for 4480 at the museum. I mean, I would anticipate that there'd be a huge, it's smaller? Where did we, Peter, where were
That's
the,
not set up. Either.
when we had all of those public hearings about the dogs, where did we have those? Wasn't that at the museum?
Yes.
So, I mean, I'm just, it is. Okay.
And we have the microphones and everything here, so an easier setup.
Why did we have that there and not here? Okay, all right, so,
Same problem we're having now.
right, I mean, I just
Trying to find
anticipate there are
where
gonna be a
everything
lot
is.
of people, so
Yeah.
I can see we have extra chairs, so it probably won't be a problem.
In here. Yeah, definitely fit a lot more in here. Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Other. Well, we have an executive session. So can I get a vote to go into executive session and to invite staff? A motion, sorry. Anybody second that? Second, and all in favor? Okay, opposed? And let's invite staff to come in with us. All right, Jim, I'm assuming you're still here?
I am still here. I trust that I am also invited.
Yes, we invited staff and council and everybody. And thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Hang on, I'm trying to stop recording.
Yeah, please stop recording.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's not. Oh, hang on. There we go. Yeah, we're back.
All right, we're back. We've just come out of executive sessions and no votes were taken in executive session. Second? Okay, all right, thank you. All right, bye-bye. We're done.